Hello, so for today's video, I want to go over the new augments that are getting added to the game. So these are all of the new set 16 augments. Of course, there will be some existing augments that are returning, but I just want to focus on these new ones, kind of talk about them, see if they have any sort of implications or how strong they are. Of course, note, this is still PBE. Some of these augments might not actually make it to live as is or make it to live at all, but it's just to kind of ease into set 16 with some of the content around that. If you like my content, make sure to like and subscribe. We're going to be working on daily set 16 guide starting from around today. Tomorrow will be more of a PBE focused guide on to get you started on playing around PBE. Additionally, you might notice some of these more jank videos getting posted on this channel. These are actually just gonna be live streams. I'm gonna try and multi-stream on YouTube, so whenever I'm streaming on Twitch, I'll also stream on YouTube and try and expand my horizons on how I present my information. So if you want to see some early set 16 gameplay, there's this, but then I'm also going to edit down the videos for VOD channel when there's a particularly good video to put there. So nothing's really changed on that regard, just letting you know that I'm live streaming on Twitch now. Sorry, live streaming on YouTube. I always streamed on Twitch. Anyways, new augments. Let's go through them. See, there's the silver ones. Air Axum. Also, I'm going to lower the audio just a little bit, just in case, from the playlist. Just in case. Anyways, new augment. So Air Axum. Gain an air hex. Champions gain 20% attack speed and their damage 30% sunders enemies for 5 seconds. This one seems pretty solid for a silver augment. 30% sundering, if you're playing around an AD comp, I can see myself taking this quite often just for the bonus effect. And you could treat it almost like a free item because you basically get that sundering effect and the attack speed, which is solid. It really depends on the hexes though. If there's some grief hexes, this might be a lot worse. Anyways, Artillery Barrage. Gain a rumble. Your strongest rumble gains +7 range and constantly fires missiles at enemies. Increase with attack speed. This is like a rumble hero augment. He's a 1-cost Yordle unit. I can see this working really well because Yordle is more of a reroll related trait anyways, or it kind of has that vibe to it, right? It scales well with reroll. I can see this working out pretty well. We'll see how it plays out. Of course, it comes down to the unit strength and the actual augment strength of how their ability scales. Next we have Boxing Lessons. Your team gains 30 health for each ally that starts combat in the front row. If you're starting a full, let's go on a team builder, I believe you can have a total of 7 total units in the front row. Yes, so 7 total units. If you're getting maximum value here, it would be 7 times 30, so 210 health for everybody on your team. Pretty solid for a silver augment. This is similar to a value what's it called, bulky buddies or something like that. So I can see this working really well if you have a really deep vertical front line. Next we have Carve a Path. Gain a BF sword. After units deal 70,000 damage, gain 2 more. This one could work out really well if you're looking for a Deathblade user, right? 3 BF swords. This is solid for a silver augment, right? The way you should always look at it is a gold augment usually gives you 3 components. Silver augments, they usually have conditions associated with it, but 3 components for a silver is often pretty good. I'm not sure the exact scaling, the damage and how much it does, but if this actually works to make you an item, I can see myself taking this. If I take this BF sword and it instantly makes me an item that I want on my unit, that way I can already start by win streaking or doing a lot of damage by playing off the component. And then of course, if I reach this threshold, I basically get a Deathblade, which is pretty solid, right? At least for a silver. It's just how much this damage is, it's hard to gauge based on fights, right? It's always hard to see these damage numbers because it really depends on the units and the pacing of the matches, which is something you can only tell after playing a lot of games on live server, especially. Then we have the AP version, gain a needlessly large rod. Same thing applies, right? If I'm playing towards a unit, if I'm getting a rod and this helps me to slam an item, I would definitely go towards this. Of course, if I have a really tempo opener here, this is a way to get 3 rods very easily for a silver. That's one of the unlock conditions for Vigor. I think there's a lot of discussion about me saying it's really hard to play around this unit sometimes because the conditions feel a little bit awkward with 2 Rabadons being his unlock condition. But this could be a situation where you can hit a Vigor early and then start him scaling. Because you're gonna get your 3 rods if you do this damage in a timely enough manner. Starting off with a rod, this is your 2 Rabadons just in 1 silver augment, if that makes sense. Then we have critical success. Gain a sparring glove, and after your champions critical strike 400 times, gain 2 more. Now, this one seems a little bit nicer to me because critical strikes can happen a lot through auto attacks, which this can actually be really, really valuable if you're playing an auto attacker build. And then, of course, the sparring gloves, you can end up making a TG with this. So this one I think I'll probably like a little bit more, but it really comes down to, once again, the number and how this kind of scales with different units. Earth Axum. Gain an Earth Hex. Champions within gain 25 armor and mattresses. At 50% health, they stun enemies within 2 hexes. I think that's this one seems solid as well. It might be a little bit awkward, especially if it's on 2-1. I kind of like this one because it gave the Sundering. This one just gives a stun, so if that's something really necessary, I guess. Extra buckles, Giant's belt, so now we have the Giant belt version. After your team takes 10,000 damage. This one's a little bit easier for me to conceptualize, right? Because 100,000 damage. Like, if a unit has a 100 or 1,000 HP, right, and you have like 5 units on your board, that's like 5,000 HP. This can actually take quite a little bit of time, but it's hard to say, right? But this one, if all of them are like really stretch goals, I think all of them will be bad. It's more so like if I can hit this by like end of stage 3, beginning of stage 4, that's where I think a lot of these ones will shine. If it takes longer than that, then I might not really be inclined for that. Then we have Fire Axum, Fire Hex, attack damage and ability power, and then there's Burn and Wound. So this could be good for anti-heal, similar to the Sunder one. Flowing Tears, gain a Tear of the Goddess after your team spends 7,500 mana, gain 2 more. Once again, similar to the other ones like I talked about. The Threshold, you can hit this within stage 3 or latest early stage 4. I can see these being really good, otherwise not very good. Focus Fire, team gains 5% attack damage, gain 5% more every 4 seconds. This can work really well with scaling builds, especially if you have a really strong front line. 4 score, gain 3 random 4-cost champions. This is essentially 12 gold for a silver, which I think is usually okay or on par with being okay. And this is a 4-2 augment, so this can just be like something where you can get a bunch of 4-costs, try and play around them. I think this is more of like a bailout, if anything. I don't think it's something I'm going to take all the time. Leap of Faith, gain an Alawi, your strongest Alawi becomes a fighter. Her ability is replaced with an Airborne Slam. I've seen this one, it seems like it's pretty good, but obviously it's going to come down to balancing of the augment in the unit. This is a hero-related augment, so it's going to be like play your Alawi and make her really strong. On a roll, whenever you start up a champion that you fielded last combat, gain 3 shop rerolls, gain 3 gold. This one seems... This seems like a lot of value, right? If I'm not mistaken. So let's assume that you're upgrading everybody on your board. It's like a timing thing, right? It's hard to conceptualize, but like in the best case scenario, you're playing, let's say you're level 8 and you're playing 8 units. If you're playing 8 units on level 8 and you're getting 3 shop rerolls, that's 8, that's like 24 gold, 24 rerolls times 3, right? Oh no, sorry, 24 rerolls times 2, it would be like 40-ish gold. And that's like a best case scenario. What's the worst case scenario? That you roll down and you upgrade most of your board at that point? It has to be a champion you feel in last combat. That's what I mean. It's hard to conceptualize because, like, obviously, if you're doing your roll down, you're expected to, like, upgrade things, right? Like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to start rolling now. Oh, I have a Nico. Then you find your Nico 2, right? It has to be fielded last combat. So I'm saying, like, the best case scenario is you have a bunch of 1-stars and then you roll next turn and you upgrade all of them. You get a lot of rerolls in that regard. But this one's hard to conceptualize. I think it's good. I think even, like, in the best case scenario, this is insane. In the worst case scenario, I think it's also decent, right? Because 3 shop free rerolls per upgrade, you just have to field them last turn. I think this is solid, for sure. So, I would definitely consider it if I needed econ. Backup bows, gain a recurse bow, and then same thing if you attack. Same thing as the other one, I've explained a lot. Slightly magic roll. Roll a single-sided die and gain a bonus. This is going to come down to the loot table, but a lot of times these are pretty solid, like, last resort options, right? Like, all of these roll ones usually just give you either good econ or decent value for what they are. So I expect this one to be similar. Small grab bag, 2 random components, is what I was saying before, right? Most of the time, silver augments are usually around 2 components, gold augments are around 3 components. So when you have more components from a silver augment, it's typically considered to be a little bit better, in my opinion. So this is like a standard. I feel like this one's a little bit weaker though, because I think like the other ones that give you is like, even though they have conditions, I think they could be a little bit stronger or higher cap, so to speak. Twin Guardians, if you only have 2 allies in your front row, they gain 35 armor and magic resist. This is a pretty solid amount of stats, but it's only on 2 units. Hard to say. There's some units that like to be frontlined alone. This might be really good in like reroll comps, especially with like reroll bruisers or something like that. I think this can give a lot of stats. Next we have Water Axum. Gain a Water Hex. They gain 3 mana gen. Their damage, I don't know why it says there, because it says gain a Hex. I'm assuming if you get multiple Axum, maybe they like stack. Is that what that works? And then Wood Axum, they gain health, permanently gain 30 health. I feel like this one could scale well if you're playing towards something like maybe like a bruiser reroll, like I was saying before. This one, it's hard to say, but it does have Shred. I think this one's really good, right? Shred with Mana Gen, this seems very valuable, right? If you get this in a good hex, I can see this one being very... Like, the ones I like the most are the Water Axum, the Fire one, and the Air one. I think, like, getting utility out of a Silver is, like, pretty high value, but then also getting, like, additional buffs to units also seems pretty good. 3 3s, gain 3 random 2-star 3-cost champions and 6 gold. A 2-star 3-cost, I believe, sells for like 8 gold. So this is actually quite a bit of gold here as well. You get like 24-ish gold, which is, it's solid, right? It's more of a bailout on 4-2, but it could also give you like the chance to play around certain units, and it gives you the 6 gold as well. I think it's a pretty solid package. Advanced Loan, gain 25 gold. Your next augment is 1 tier lower. This one's hard for me to judge. At a glance, it seems really good. Right, 2-1 starting with 25 gold. I feel like that puts you at such a strict econ advantage. I think econ is really important this game, like in this set, right? If you don't know, they're changing the amount of gold it takes to get from level 7 to level 8. So it actually takes a lot more gold to get to level 8. In the games I've played today, right, I tried to just like play normally or play like, you know, in like a very like free, open, like whatever kind of manner, and you really feel the punishment, right? If you do not have econ, or if you don't start with a strong opener, it feels like unplayable right now. So like I think that like that's part of me adjusting to the new set, because obviously I only played like 2 or 3 games today on the new set, and you know, I'm getting there. My last game was a first, right? So I'm like figuring it out. But I think early econ is really important, and this gives you a lot of value, because with this, you're probably going to be making 30 gold. 30 is going to make 40, make 50. You're going to be making 50 gold before first carousel. That's 5 gold per round. You're going to be in such an advantageous spot that I think that having a tier lower augment is not even that big of a detriment, because a lot of times there are really powerful augments irrespective of their tiers, as long as it like fits well with your board. So I'm actually curious about this one. Then Advanced Loan Plus, same thing applies. This one I think is a lot worse though. 25 gold on stage 2, 35 gold on stage 3 is like, there's a big difference to me between these two, right? It seems like 10 gold, like whatever, but like this sets you up to be making 50 before your first carousel. That is an insane amount of resource, right, for a gold augment. This, you're probably already making 50. So this is just more so like to like kind of push levels. It's like extra spending cash, if that makes sense. So this one I think is a lot, like, you know, I'm very like leaning towards that. Arcane Victory. 10 seconds into combat, stun the enemy team for 1.5 seconds. Repeat this 28 seconds into combat. They made some of these things, like, you know, based on tournaments. Like, obviously, this is based on the Arcane Victor 6 cost that I always complain about. 10 seconds into combat feels like it's a little bit awkward. And then 1.5 seconds also, I don't know how strong this is, but it doesn't seem like that crazy. And then 28 seconds is basically the fight's over by then. A lot of fights late game actually end in like 15-ish seconds, so I think this stun could come at a crucial moment, but I think it might be lobby dependent, right? If there's certain units or lobby demons that you want to beat that the stun really helps, so like auto attackers, for example, Gwinsu stackers, like I don't know, even like what's it called, I guess Gwinsu doesn't stack the same way, but like stuns are really good on, like, for example, melee carries, right? A melee carry, they need to be constantly attacking or else they're just gonna like die. So like this can like sway the fight in those regards, right? So I think that's where it's gonna be a lot more clickable, if that makes sense. Bando Bounty, for every Yordle you unlock, gain 6 gold. The Bando Paths reveal a secret to Yordle 10, so this is like activates the Prismatic. I also think even besides like the meme Prismatic that you get to level 10, that actually helps the Yordle a lot, right? Because Yordles, they slowly unlock each other step by step. So getting 6 gold per unlock, I think it actually work out to be a lot of gold, right? Because there are quite a few unlocked Yordles, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy might be hard. 5, maybe 6. But the chances are you're going to unlock these ones a little bit earlier. So it kind of equates to like around 20-ish gold if you unlock your early Yordles fast enough. It's not perfectly like as strong as other golds in my opinion, but it does have like the potential for the Prismatic. So if you have a really strong Yordle opener that you know that you're just gonna steamroll, this can maybe help you, and then you can hit like the Prismatic basically. Birthday Reunion, gain a random 2-star 2 cost. At level 6, gain a random component. At level 9, gain a random 2-star 5 cost. Inkborn Fables. I don't even remember what this was. Like, I watched this tournament, but I don't know what this is alluding to. This one seems pretty reliable, or pretty good, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but 2-star 2 cost is pretty good, like, starting, right? Like, you know, it doesn't give you all the other stuff, but this could be really good for tempo, depending on what you hit. Then you're also getting a component, and then, of course, if you make it to level 9, a 2-star 5 cost. It doesn't seem that bad, because it sets you up to have like a really good opener that can actually let you or allow you to fast 9. So I feel like this is pretty solid. And then the extra component at level 6, this is really good for information, right? A lot of times at level 6, you're level 6 on stage 3, you can basically like, you know, hopefully get a 2-star 2 cost, win streak stage 2. Then as soon as you get to stage 3, you have all of your Krugs dropping all of your items, right? Then you just level to 6, you get an extra component, and then you have perfect information, or not perfect information, you have a solid amount of information to make all of your item slams and continue on to stage 3 being strong. Like, I feel like this tempo makes sense, but of course, I think this has to be paired with already having a strong board. I don't think you're just going to win streak off the 2-star 2 cost, and then it's going to be a little bit awkward, because you really want to get that HP advantage so you can make it to level 9 to get this 2-star 5 cost. Blood Offering. Gain a Bloodthirster. Combat start. Allies holding a Bloodthirster lose 20% health, but gain 10 AD and 25% health. This seems pretty good. If you're playing around a melee carry, I can see this working pretty well, right? You lose 20% health on your units, but the Bloodthirster is going to heal that up anyways, and you're getting the 10 AD, and you're getting the health shield anyways. I feel like this can work really well if you're trying to play around those. Maybe playing towards Aatrox, who scales with the Omnivamp, so you want the Bloodthirster, and that's his unlock condition. Bodyguard training. Your champions gain 10 armor and magic resist, increased by 3 per player level. Gizmos and gadgets. I didn't actually watch this one. I didn't watch this championship. But anyways, your champions gain 10 armor and magic resist. This is solid just to give you like stats, right? And then 3 per player level. So let's say like you're level 5, right? This would be an extra 15. It's like 25 and 25. Let's say you're level 8, right? If you're level 8, it's like 24. It's like 35-ish. This is pretty solid, right? All champions as well. But it says your champions. It doesn't say your team. So it's a little bit awkward. I don't know what it means. I'm assuming it's your team. I'm assuming if you play things later on in the game, they'll gain the armor as well. This seems pretty solid. I think this seems pretty solid. As a 2-1, the only selling point is that you can't, like, if it was offered later in the game, it might be better. But like being offered this early, you probably want Econ over this, right? I would be pressed to take this instead of Econ, because Econ I think is super important in this set. Bringer of Ruin. Every 2 takedowns Otacon scores permanently grant him 3% attack speed and 50% health. So if you're playing Noxus, that you have the summon for Otacon, this might work out pretty well. And there might be some sort of reroll lines within that also can work really well. Chaos Magic. Arcanists gain 1 mana regen after every 150 mana is spent. A magical effect hits the board. So 150 mana spent isn't that much, right? It's like 3 or 4 casts, like total. But basically, you get a fireball that burns and wounds. Magic Missile. It says a magical effect. I'm guessing it's random between these. This one might be a little bit awkward. I think if you're playing around Arcanist, it can make sense, but this might be just awkward in terms of like which ones you get, because obviously if you get burn and wound, this is pretty valuable, right? The 1 mana regen is also valuable, just helps the units cast more. And then this also seems really good, right? Arcane Missiles are all enemies for 5% max health true damage. It's just this one that feels a little bit awkward. I can see this being good as well. Dark Will's Invasion, Your team gains 13% damage amp, increased to 18% if the Noxus trait is active. This is pretty solid. It's similar to like a lot of other things like Know Your Enemy. So this is just like a standard amount of damage amp. The only thing is I don't like it on 2-1. On 2-1, I really want Econ, so I think that's going to be the point where I don't necessarily take this, if that makes sense. In Defense of Placidium. Your team gains 10% durability, increased to 13% if the Ionia trait is active. Yeah, same thing, durability type of traits. It has a different scaling, right? It's not going to be the same because durability often might be a little bit more useful in some cases, right? Because damage amp is more or less only useful on the damage carries. This is useful on everybody because like your backline doesn't get sniped. But, you know, it's solid, whatever. Early learnings. Your team gains 5% attack damage and ability power. This is increased by 1% after each player combat. 1 cost champions gain double. TFT Vegas open. Let me read this again. Your team gains 5% attack damage and ability power. This increases by 1% after each player combat. So this 1 cost champions gain double. So this feels like a 1 cost reroll type of beat. Because it feels like a worse version of No Scout, No Pivot. Right? Like there was an augment called No Scout, No Pivot that you would scale your units by AP and AD, but this one's only player combat, but it's a little bit more flexible because you can obviously pivot out of them. And then the 1 cost gaining double really wants you to have like a 1 cost carry or 1 cost tank that can use these stats really well. So I feel like this is going to be more more towards like the reroll lines. And Vegas Open, I'm assuming this is tied to like family reroll. That was a big 1-cost reroll back then. Epic roll down. When you reach level 8, gain 23 rerolls. This seems insane. This seems very good. 23 reroll. This is like 40 gold worth of rerolls, right? I think this is broken. I think this number should probably be lowered, right? Because you could just get to level 8, right? Like, even if you have no gold on level 8, 23 rerolls is plenty. Is plenty. I feel like this is, good. This one, I can see myself taking this very often. Evolve and Overcome. For every 4 enemies that mutated void allies take down, gain 2 XP. Okay. Gain a Kog'Maw and a Cho'Gath. This is like a tempo way to play around void. 2 XP is pretty good, but it's 4 enemies. So that's like if I win a round, basically, starting on stage 2. So this one could be a little bit awkward, but when you get to level 8, you're going to be getting 4 XP per round. It's hard to say, like, this, if you have a really good opener that you're just going to win streak stage 2, this can be really valuable, because then you can just, like, scale really well. And also, Void, you have some unlocks, right? Like, if you can get Rift Herald in. And, of course, this can work really well to get to Baron Nashor, right? Like, the Giga Cap. So there is a way that this can work out, but you're kind of locking yourself deep into like the vertical void trait. But I can imagine like if you have a strong lead and you just push aggressive tempo, this could turn into a win condition very fast. Right? Potentially. Feed the Flames. Gain a Sunfire Cape. Your allies gain 15% Omnivamp when attacking burned enemies. I don't know about this one. This might work well with melee comps. That's really it. Gain 21 gold, gain 21 gold. Wow, this one's really solid. So now we have a new what's it called? A new balance point, right? Like now we can like equate a gold augment to a certain amount of gold. So all of these other gold augments, they should be like, you know, based on their positives and downsides, they should be at around 21 gold. And I think 21 is a little bit too little. I feel like most gold augments, I usually evaluate a gold augment closer to 30 gold. So I don't know why it's so low. Right, like a lot of other augments, like they don't even have that much of a downside, and they give you more gold than this. But maybe that's wrong. Yeah, maybe I'm overvaluating. I don't know. It seems like a little amount, right? 3, 2, 20 gold. I feel like you can get 20 gold from like silver augments even, right? And look at epic roll down. Which would you rather take? Gain 21 gold or gain 23 rerolls on level 8? Like this just seems like twice as much. It just seems way better. Right? I don't know, but it might just be my lack of understanding, because obviously this helps you make econ and stuff like that. But usually like on 3-2 you're already at 50 gold, right? If you're not at 50 gold at 3-2, the game is going really horribly wrong anyways, and that's not like, this augment isn't really enough of a bailout in my opinion at least. So it feels a little bit awkward, but we'll see. Maybe that's balanced. Heart of Steel. Gain a steadfast heart. For every 10 seconds of combat their holder survives, they grant an additional permanent 15% max health. Or sorry, 15 max health. This could be good for scaling, right? You get an item to start, so you can use this for tempo probably. And then like just scale the unit, similar to how some of the other scaling augments work. I can see that being alright. Hextech Travel. Whenever 3 Piltover modules trigger, triggers, gain a random Piltover unit that costs 1 to 3 gold, gain a Caitlyn and a Vi. 3 Piltover modules trigger. I think you need to have, don't you have to have like a lot of Piltovers in? Am I crazy? Or like, is it 3 separate ones? Like, doesn't that mean you have to be like deep into Piltover? I'm a little bit confused by that, right? Because I played Piltover today, right? So you get 1 module second and then you get third. So you need 6 to get 3 modules in, right? When I was playing the game, I'm guessing it's counting the 1 module working multiple times, right? So like if you have 2 Piltover in and your module pops every 8 seconds, right? So like that will count as 2. You know what I mean? I think that's what it's doing. So it's counting the same one, which I guess that's how it has to work, because otherwise it makes no sense. 1 to 3 gold. I feel like this can get out of hand really fast, right? Whenever 3 Piltover modules trigger, what I'm imagining is, like, if you get to 6 Piltover, right? Can't you just, like, farm up? And I think the T-Hex has, like, there's the unlock potential for this, right? That kind of fits in the Piltover board. Yeah, 9 Piltover star levels. Like, I'm imagining, like, you can unlock this T-Hex and just kind of steamroll with all the Piltover units. Do we have 6 Piltover? Wait, what is that? I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. 6 Piltovers only with the T-Hex. Okay, never mind. I was thinking more along the lines of, like, if you can get these modules to pop a lot earlier, then you could really pop off, like, with this, but I guess you need the 6. Maybe an emblem situation. Like, I was imagining that if you have 3 modules, then every 8 seconds you're getting a random unit. So then you're getting like 4 or 5 gold per round, and you just 3-star everybody. But you need to first unlock the T-Hex, and the T-Hex, I think you have to be... I think it has a level requirement as well. I might be wrong about that. But how many star levels? 9? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually not that hard to unlock the T-Hex, I guess. Right? Because you just need the Seraphine, and this is 9 star levels. I don't know. It's hard to judge. I haven't played enough Piltover. I played it only as a splash trade of 2 so far, so I can't tell you for sure. Indecision. After 4 rounds, choose an augment of the same tier to replace this augment. Gain 12 gold now. On 3-2, this doesn't seem that bad. Now, how many like you get to choose? Do you get 3 options? This is just postponing the decision with 12 gold. I think this is solid. 12 gold plus you get another augment. I would be down for that. It's just a matter of like how many rolls do you get? Do you get like a rolls on the augments? Like, is it a whole nother augment selection? Or is it just like you have to pick 1 out of 3? If you have to pick 1 out of 3, this can be a little bit of a grief. But 12 gold is 12 gold, right? You're just down an augment for stage 3. I would take this out as lose streaking, right? Like if I knew that I was gonna lose streak on stage 3, like maybe I just like looked at my board, I don't have a good board or something like that. I think that's where this makes sense. Or if I have like a really strong board, maybe I can scam some rounds. But it is very risky. But it is 12 gold. It's like a shitty version of Gold Destiny, right? Is the way I look at it. Indiscriminate Killer. Gain a Giant Slayer. Giant Slayers gain their bonus against all enemies instead of just tanks. I think this one's really good because Giant Slayer also is very strong. If they nerf Giant Slayer, they change it from how it was in previous sets. It's very strong right now. Like it was strong from last set. So now it being like applicable to everybody and you get a free item. This is basically just like, here's a really good item that you probably want to make anyways. Also, it gets powered up. Like this just seems like a very good augment. Obviously tied to Giant Slayer's power. Infinity Protection. Gain 8 gold. On 3-7, gain an Infinity Force. This is on 2-1. So you're basically just getting 8 gold starting the game. And then you just have to like wait for much of the game. I think this one's a little bit weaker. Because Infinity Force is also a little bit particular. Right? Infinity Force is the Ornn artifact where it just powers up. It gives a bunch of stats. It's a little bit awkward. But it does give this shielding effect. Right? Infinity Force gives allies in the same row 15% health shield. I don't know how strong this effect is. Because this part basically means you're down an augment for 2 rounds. This seems like a huge deficit to me. So I would be very weary about clicking this one. Kahuna Huna. Oh, it's probably based on the power up from the last set. Every 5th attack deals bonus true damage equal to 200% of your basic attack damage. Obviously, if you're playing auto attacker, this one's going to make sense. Late game scaling. Gain 2 XP every round. Your 5-cost champions gain 20% health and 20% attack speed. Cyber City Tactician's Crown. Yeah, I watched that one. That was the Fast 9 meta. This seems very good. 2 XP per round is pretty solid. And then powering up your 5 costs late game is actually pretty solid. So this is basically 2 gold per round. And you have to Fast 9 or play around a 5 cost. But the thing that's good, the thing that's strong about this is that you could just unlock some 5 costs to stabilize, right? You're going to be getting a set with 20% attack speed. Like, you know, like there's unlocks. You know what I mean? Like the unlocks... If you can find, you basically play towards one of these conditions to guarantee it a little bit earlier. Aatrox, very easy to get out. Set, very easy to get out. Right? Even Volibear in some cases, very easy to get out. Right? Volibear especially can work really well with the extra HP because he scales off HP and he's a bruiser. So I see this one seems solid to me. Legion of Threes. Gain a random emblem. Your 3-cost champions and all allies equipped with an emblem gain 200% health and 20% attack speed. This one's very good in the new Rise encounter. If you don't know... there's no longer a wandering trainer where they give you like a dummy, right? Or not wandering trainer. There's no longer a golem encounter where they give you a golem and they put all the emblems on the golem. Instead, now they just give you 3 emblems. So you can put them on your units actually. So if you have like these type of augments that scale off of emblems, this actually works well. Anyways, lifting competition. At the start of each round, if the combined health of all your unique bruisers is high enough, you gain a reward. This can come down to the cash outs for it, so I don't know yet, but we'll see. Max build. Gain a champion duplicator and 7 free shop rerolls. On stage 6, 6-1, gain these again. So champion duplicators is pretty powerful, especially with all the 5 costs and the unlocks, especially with 7 costs and stuff like that. Like, you can have very, very powerful boards. 6-1 is very far away, and this is on 4-2. You can treat this like econ. Right, the champion duplicator, you're not really going to greed it. You're basically using 7 free rerolls, which is 14 gold, and then a champ duplicator, and you basically try and go for like a 2-star 5 cost scam, or at the bare minimum, like a very reliable, like, upgrade your 4 costs and tank really well. I think this is solid, right? The 6-1 is like icing on the cake, but I think this part of it, this is like a decent bailout. To me, I see this, and I'm like, this is a decent, like, I can maybe get bailed out by this augment. Because it is good value, right? The 7 rerolls with the dupe, I think as of right now, I think that would be solid. Poison Pals, gain a Singed and a 2-star Teemo. So this on 3-2. Singed is a 4 cost, right? Every 4 seconds, Teemo fires a dart Singed targets. Fires a dart at Singed target, I guess. When an enemy is poisoned by Teemo, dies. Singed gains ability power for the rest of combat. This is pretty strong because this gives you a 4 cost. Right off rip. But it's kind of like a Singed Teemo thing, so it might have to be like a specific board that plays around these units. But Teemo being a Yordle, you might just be able to play like Yordle plus Singed and just reroll Teemo and just get a free tank or free frontline unit. Precision and Grace. On takedown, your team dashes to their next target, gains 25% attack speed. This one's pretty reliable. This one's really good if you're playing a melee carry, right? The dashing to their next target is a really powerful effect for melee carries, because melee carries, if you don't know, like, a lot of times they spend their time looking for their wallet, just lost looking around. You really want them to be glued to an enemy, so they're constantly dealing damage and constantly healing with Omnivamp. So having them like snap to new targets is like a very powerful effect. It's usually like a cornerstone of units being really strong if they're melee carries. Next, Promise Protection. Gain a Protector's Vow. All allies holding Protector's Vow gain 15% mana from all 15% additional mana from all sources. I don't know how strong this is, but Protector's Vow is usually pretty good, so I can see this being very good on caster melee style, caster frontline units. Ruined King. Viego shares 30% of his passive with other Shadow Isles units, so his passive basically is like powers him up. After collecting additional 100 souls, the ability is replaced by a more powerful one. This kind of feels like a little bit of like Viego hero augment, but it can also work really well with the Shadow Isle boards, because obviously him sharing his passive, right, if we go here, right, read it, passive gain attack speed. He's basically giving all the Shadow Isles attack speed, and it scales with the Shadow Isle currency, which you get from playing Shadow Isles. Savings account. This one I don't know. I've actually seen this one today, and I didn't click it. After you earn 60 gold of interest, gain 30 gold. This feels like really awkward, because I feel like it's like a weaker version of a lot of the silver augments that give you a similar amount of gold, right? Max interest is increased to 7, which is nice, but the problem is it's like, I think getting to 60 is very difficult. So you're basically going to have to full lose streak stage 2 if you click this. I guess it's like kind of okay, because maybe you make back the interest with the 7 interest gold. But it feels like you want to play this from like a really giga lose streak, which might be a little bit scary, but it's hard to say how strong that is. Like, I actually don't know. Secrets of the Sands. Gain 4 gold. Gain a 0 at 3-5. Every time you unlock a Shuriman, gain an ideal item for them. This seems pretty strong, but it is a big commitment. 3-5 is insane for Azir, though. Now, it's just a matter of like how strong you are. If you don't know, Azir is like the 5 cost that you need to unlock the other Shuriman units. The other Shuriman units, they all have like these conditions of like winning and losing rounds. But at the bare minimum, you should be able to like lose rounds and find Renekton or Nasus. But the Xerath one is really, really crazy. So I'm inclined to just say that it's broken, because I think this Azir enabling these unlocks is really broken. But I don't, like, you are giving up a lot, right? 3-5, it's not, you're going to be strong on stage 4, don't get me wrong, so you can still spike. But this is going to be a really awkward situation, because, like, you won't have much HP to, like, play around to get these units. Like, I think that the best case scenario is you play Azir, you go for Xerath, and then you try and win out to get the Renekton. And you kind of disregard the other guy because you might not have enough HP for it. And I think like something like this is going to be your final board, and you get 2 whole items for it, which is enough, right? But you really want to go for the Zareth first, I think. In all the cases, you usually go for Zareth first, in my opinion, because these charms that the Zareth provides with its bonus is, like, broken. It's so good. Seraphim's Staff. Gain an Archangel's. Archangel's Staff grants 2 additional mana regen if the holder has 90% or more ability power. This can be good. It might work really well with certain units and take the place of a mana gen item. It's hard to say, though. Solo Plate. Gain a Gargoyle Stone Plate. Allies holding Gargoyle Stone Plate gain 10% max health if they're the only one in the front row. This is actually pretty synergetic. You gain health with an item that scales off being a solo front line because you get a lot of armor and MR. I think this could be solid. Silco's Revenge. Zonites explode into Shimmer on death, dealing 8% of their max health to 2 nearby enemies as magic damage, and granting 2 nearby allies 30% attack speed for 4 seconds. This might be good, especially with like Warwick carry, because Warwick would really love to get this extra attack speed being in the front line. But I don't know how important it is to play Deep Zon. Speedy Double Kill. Gain a Gwynsu. When 2 players are eliminated, gain 40 gold. This one feels a little bit weaker, though. Right? I think that waiting for players to get eliminated to get a cash out is basically like a huge grief a lot of the time. So I'd be very skeptical about this one. I don't think a Gwynsu is enough for this to be strong to take. Unless you really, really need a Gwynsu. But then at that point, it might be okay. Spirit of Redemption. Gain a Spirit Visage every 5 seconds. Spirit Visage heals allies within 2 hexes. 10% of their missing health. So now it basically like works similar to like how Redemption worked in the past. I think this is solid. Right? But it's hard to say. This would be really good with bruisers, right? Obviously, if they have a lot of base HP. So I can see this being situationally really good. Spreading Roots. Gain 2 random emblems and 1 gold. I think with certain synergies and encounters, this can be really strong. I'm not sure how broken the emblems are because we don't have too much information on all of that just yet. Like, except for like actually looking at the PvE games. But this has the potential to be really strong if you're trying to play like deep into emblems and synergies. Spreading Roots. Gain 2 random emblems and X gold. Oh, this is the plus version. Staffsmith. Gain 2 random completed items that build from needlessly large rods. I think this is solid. 2 completed items for a gold is pretty powerful. And if you're trying to get rod items because you're playing AP, it can work really well. And similarly, Swordsmith. You might get griefed by these. I think the sword one's a little bit better in my opinion because it's harder to get griefed. Like looking at sword items, right? Even if you get low roll and you don't get one that properly fits your board, right? Edge of Night is fine. This one might be awkward in certain spots, but all the other ones are usually AD items, and this one could actually be a pretty reliable tank item. With the rod, like there's a chance that, you know, you get anti-heal when you don't need it, you get spark when you don't need it, but in general, if you don't have like, you know, utility or specific items committed, I think you can actually make this work. The rod one's also a little bit awkward because if you get a Gwynsu thinking you're going to get an AP item, it could be a little bit awkward. I think that the sword one's a little bit better in this version, but of course, 2 completed items for a gold, definitely worthwhile in both cases in my opinion. Golden Dragon. Gain a Mogul's Mail. Champions only Mogul Mail will take up 2 item slots but gain 500 health and 20% durability. I don't know how good this is. 2 item slots, a little bit awkward, but it does provide econ generation. I think this is really good early game. Right, on stage 2, you're probably not going to have... Oh, it takes up 2 team slots. Oh, excuse me. I thought it took up 2 item slots. Yeah, I don't know how good this is. 2 team slots on stage 2. I don't know if this is enough tankiness to make it worthwhile, but I definitely think it will be good for generating econ on stage 2. It's just how good is it later in the game? Because you're basically losing a unit for the rest of your game. Right? It feels a little bit awkward. Timewinder. Gain an Echo when he casts. He stores XP for the Chrono Keeper trait. Enemies hit by Echo's ability are damaged by Zillion's bomb faster. After Echo stores 12 XP, gain a Zillion. I don't know how broken this is. It sounds broken, right? When he casts, he stores XP for the Chrono Keeper trait. Like, how much XP? Like, is this not broken? Do you not just get a Zillion? Or is it like you can only cash it out after you have a Zillion? This one confuses me. I'd have to try it out personally. Because this, if you just get a Zillion from 2-1, 12 XP, it doesn't even seem that bad. It's just how many times Echo can cast, right? It's like, I don't know what the breakdown is of how much XP you gain. Because 12 XP, is that 12 casts? Well, so what, on stage 3 you just have a Zillion? Like what? Like it just does, something about this doesn't make sense. So I don't understand it. But you know, I can't, whatever. If somebody knows more, power to you. I'll see it in PB. I'll be playing later this week. Earth, gain a spatula. Champions only spatula or frying pan gain 15% attack speed and 2 mana regen. I think this is powerful because you can make different synergies with it, but I don't know. This seems a little bit undervalued to me, a little bit. Trials of Twilight, gain a Jinzhao. Your strongest Jinzhao constantly strikes nearby enemies and executes. After 5 combats as a 3-star, unlocks Zahen, who kills Jinzhao and takes his items. So this is like the unlock for Zahen and like the hero Jinzhao little side quest you can play. Unsealed from Steel. Choose one of 4 darkened weapons. Darkened weapons are artifacts that grant the darkened trait. I think this one's really good. I've taken this quite a bit today. Like, I think in all my games I took it almost. Basically, you get like an artifacty kind of item. I'm not sure the exact which ones are broken on which units because it's still PvE, but I'm sure they're going to have good synergy with the units. The thing is, you get one of 4 darkened weapons. It makes you darken, which also is pretty easy because Aatrox is an unlock. He's pretty easy as an unlock. So a lot of times you can just play towards Aatrox now. You can get 2 darken in, which isn't that big of an issue, right? It's not that important, right? It just like gives you like the, you know, the heal for your HP, and then it gives you like the extra Omnivamp on the units. But you can just play around this, and I feel like it's solid because it basically gives you an item, and the items seem like decent. They don't seem that bad. They seem like an item's worth of quality. So you get like an item's worth of quality, and then you could also cap a little bit higher with like 2 darken, which doesn't really matter that much, but it can help you to like recover some HP, and you can maybe scam some placements later. So I'm actually on board with it. Next we have Earth's Gambit. If you win your next combat, gain a spatula. If you lose, gain a frying pan. Gain a component anvil and 2 gold now. This is pretty solid, right? Compared to like the other one that gives you just like the little bit of stats, like the attack speed and mana regen. I like this one a little bit more because at least you get the component anvil, so you can guarantee making the emblem without having to cost a component, right? But maybe that's just me. And it also gives the 2 gold. I kind of like this one a little bit more. Warlord's Honor. Every round, champions on your team gain 5% attack damage and ability power stack up to 4 times. So it's 20 AD, 20 AP. It feels like a little bit weak, but at the same time, that could be solid depending on your units. Walk the True Path. Gain 2 lesser champion duplicators. Ionia 10 is a prismatic upgrade. This one I think is like really good if you have a good Ionia start. Obviously, the lesser duplicators help a lot because unlocking the Ionias, one of the major ones that you want to unlock is Yone, and that usually comes from the dude, from hitting the Yasuo. So Yasuo 3-star unlocks the Yone, and then of course, having the Ionia 10 unlock condition, if you're able to hit Yasuo 3 and stabilize, then all you have to do is get to level 10 and you have like an instant win condition. The thing that makes this nice is that the 2 duplicators often sets you up really well for like your early game. Sorry, I didn't put the unlocks in. But yeah, if I put in all the unlocks, you can get 10 with just like all the units. You don't need an emblem. But what I like about it is that being like with the duplicators puts you in a decent spot that allows you to more easily tempo. Obviously, making it to level 10 is its own journey. But what I'm saying is, as like a for fun option, it actually seems like somewhat viable in certain situations. That's the thing. Right? Like a lot of these prismatics, they're usually like bait, and it's not something that I'll ever go for, but I can see myself clicking this with the intention of going for it because there are situations where this might make sense because the 2 duplicators does put you in a good spot early game. Wild Growth. 3-star Yordles become massive, move slowly, and gain 250 max health and 20 attack damage and ability power. I don't know how strong this is, but it seems like it's decent. And the Yordles also scale really well. They get extra attack speed and damage if you 3-star a lot of them. So I can see this being pretty powerful. Finally, Woven Magic. Every 1650 mana your team spends, you gain an extra component, max 3. So this gives a total of 4 components, which is more value than normal for a gold augment. Usually you get 3 components for a gold. I think this is solid if you have like an invoker start, right? If you have units that like cast a bunch, right? Invokers where they generate mana. This can work out really well, and you can get a decent chunk of change. Now we have a couple of prismatics. I don't think there's that many, so we're going to quickly go over those. Sorry the video's taking a little bit long. I'm just yapping a little bit, but you know, that's the early set 16 kind of content that we're doing here. Walk the True Path Plus. So 2 lesser champ duels at Infinity Edge. Same thing applies, right? If you're playing this in certain encounters where it's easier to level, or if you have like a really good Ionia start where you have like the conditions to try and hit like that Yasuo 3 so you can hit the Yone and stabilize in that sense. I can see this being possible. Sentinels of Light, gain a Lucian and Senna and a 2-star Vayne. Vayne cries an additional bolts at the enemies afflicted with Black Mist on the takedown. Oh, these are like those paired traits in set 13. It really comes down to the quality of the units, right? Because you're basically going to have Vayne, Lucian, Senna. Lucian Senna is a 5 cost. So this can actually be really powerful if Lucian Senna are really powerful. And then obviously the hero augment effects or like the bonus effects kind of works there. Soul Awakening. Combat start. Allies gain 2.5 attack damage and ability power per second for 10 seconds. At max dex, deal 22% bonus true damage. This seems pretty powerful. 10 seconds you're doing true damage and you're getting 25 attack damage and ability power. The true damage seems broken, but it's just a matter of surviving 10 seconds. So I think this really needs like a reliable frontline. Band of Thieves 2. Gain 2 Thieves Gloves. After 8 player combats, gain another. This seems very good. I like this. I like this a lot. You get 2 Thieves Gloves, and then you get another one, so you have a total of 3 Thieves Gloves, especially in a set where there's unlocks where you can hit multiple 5 costs. I think Thieves Gloves are great, right? You can just unlock random ass shit units, shove Thieves Gloves on all of them, and have like a lot of tempo and a lot of power. I like this a lot. This one's just 6 player combats. I can see this one being okay. I like this one a little bit more because stage 2 tempo might be a little bit better. And then Band of Thieves plus. This one too. I like all of these actually. I can see myself clicking these very often. But it's hard to gauge because it's a prismatic, right? 3 Thieves Gloves feels like it's pretty good. At least to me. Big Spender. Your team gains 0.5 attack damage and ability power for every 1 gold in champion value on your board. Huh. What would that equate to? Like your board value. A lot of times board value can get up to 200 gold in late game scenarios. So 200, maybe I'm pulling that number out of my ass, but it seems like a lot, right? This seems like very high cap, right? Like each of these would be 15 gold. I mean, you're getting at least like 100 in board value. This one seems, on a glance, this seems pretty powerful. At a glance, this seems good. I'm unsure, though. Binary Airdrop. Champions holding 2 items gain a random 3rd completed item. Gain 2 random components now. Champions holding 2 items gain a random 3rd completed item. This is all of them? There's no limit? This is broken. This is just broken. It's just, it's an instant click. Am I fucking crazy? There's no limit. I thought there was a limit. I think I saw this today. I thought there was a limit when I saw it in game. Did I misread? This canonically, for anybody watching this video that doesn't believe me, canonically this has been broken to a point where they nerfed it. In the last time they brought this back, they made it so that it was only 4 champions. If this is unlimited, this is broken. It's just good. You just always click it. It's too much value for what it is. I don't know. Something's up here. I think it's not I think the tooltip is wrong. Like, there's no way. Like, something. I'm missing something, and I don't know what it is, and maybe it's my reading comprehension. Trolls and Wolves, gaining a Bessa and a Kindred. When Kindred casts, so this is like a Kindred and Bessa duel. It relies on the units being strong and how much this effect really powers them up, but it's a 5 cost and a 4 cost. We've seen stuff like this in the past. It usually comes down to, like, if the units themselves are good. Comeback story. Your team gains 6 health and 5 attack speed per missing player health. I think this is a typo. I think it's 0.5 attack speed. Because this is broken. Even with 0.5 attack speed, I think this is really solid. Because per missing player health, this is a lot of stats for what it is. Right? The attack speed especially. Commerce Core, gain 10 free shop rerolls now and 5 every round for the rest of the game. Starting on 4-2. So every turn you're getting 10 gold. This seems broken as well. Like, this seems like an insane amount of rerolls. Isn't this just better than, like, I guess Invested gives you, like, I guess this is a Prismatic. This could be really good if you already have a board, right? Because you can just stack the rerolls and then just go for all the 5 costs. I don't know. This one's hard to judge because the 10 rerolls and the 5 later, like, Invested gives you, like, 45 gold and, like, 30 rerolls or something, right? What does it give you? I might have to open up Invested. 26 gold. Sorry, 45 gold. Gives you 45 gold. That gives you like 20 gold. I mean, it's like a more scaling version of invested, right? I see this could be good. Like, it's still like a bailout. Component heist. After 6-player combats, gain 1 of each component. 6-player combats gain 1 of each component. So this is 8 components. 8 components is pretty good. I can see this being good. You just have to have a good use for them. What is like your best set of items with 1 of every component? Like, you can make Giant Slayer. I guess if you're playing AP, this is broken, right? You can make Giant Slayer. Like, look at this, right? Like, if I'm playing an AP carry, I can make Giant Slayer, Jewel Gauntlet, Adaptive Helm. Like, if I'm playing an Invoker or something, maybe. Actually, Invoker's a little bit different. They don't want Adaptive Helm. But I can make some sort of mana gen. Oh, I could probably make Nashers instead. Right? I don't know, this seems good. I think there's enough items here to make... I think this is broken. 8 components for a Prismatic. I would click that. I would click this. I would click this. I think I can make it work. I think there's very coherent builds you can make because Giant Slayer is good. Like, you can just make JG Giant Slayer, or you can make It might be hard with AD because killing all of the bad components. Like, if you make like an IE, right? Then like, what do you do with this? It'd probably be like IE Gwinsu if you're playing an auto attacker, and then you can make like, you know, frontline items or anti-heal or something else with it. This seems good. It's more value than a Prismatic. I like when I get more value out of my items. It's very clear that it's good, like to me. Construct a companion. Next 1 cost you buy is a 3-star. Oh my god, they made Build-A-Bud better. Oh, but it's on 3-2 actually. This isn't as good. This isn't as good on 3-2. I thought it was on 2-1. I don't know. This one's hard to gauge. This one's hard to gauge. Because by 3-2, it might be awkward for you to find like a 1 cost that you really want. Cursed Crown. +2 team size. Your team gains durability, but you take double damage. Yeah, this one's like the giga risky one. I would very rarely take this. Dragon Guards. Gain a Shyvana and 2-star Jarvan. When Jarvan casts, Shyvana gains shield. Yeah, this one's one of those weird ones where you have to have like the units synergize. Jarvan's like a low cost unit. He's like a 1 cost though. So like, I don't see this one being particularly great. I feel like this Jarvan's just gonna die and you're not gonna have any bonus effect here. Forge and Strength. Gain a random artifact. When you drop below 30 health, gain 3 random artifacts. Oh boy, this is going to come down to comps that can take a lot of artifacts. If there's like an artifact win condition style comp where they work really well with different artifacts, I can see this being okay, but this is very risky. Because below 30 health, like, you got to hope that at that point you don't have much wiggle room, right? Growth Mindset. Gain 40 XP. Buying XP costs 3 instead of 4 gold. So this is just to go like level 9. 40 XP, this actually could be really strong to make it to level 9. You can just like tempo. This might be like an instant fast 9 if you click it in the right spot. Indecision. After 4 rounds, yeah, 18, you gain 18 gold and then you pick one. It comes down to how this works, like how many options you get. If it's like 1, 3, or if it's like the full, like you get to reroll everything. Just hit. Gain a champ duplicator, 18 shop rerolls. Yep, I think this is solid just as a bailout. Duplicator and rerolls. This can just be like you go for your hit, right? Luxury subscription. Gain a package containing a 5-cost champion, a 2-star 1 cost, and 5 gold. At the start of the next 2 stages, gain the package again. I think this is broken. I would click this almost always. There's too many 5 costs that are like really, really strong, right? I think the 5 costs are all made to be super flexible and really insertable. So I feel like this is just solid. You just get a 5 cost and a 2-star 1 cost and 5 gold, and you get it again in the next 2 stages. So basically by stage 5 you have a guaranteed 2-star 5 cost, and you probably are gonna this is probably good for tempo as well, right? Like, what are the units that you can hit, right? It wouldn't be the unlocks, it would be these ones. Like, imagine you hit a fucking Azir. Are you kidding me? You just click it instantly just because you might hit Azir. Like, this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy's good. This one's good. Like, they're all fucking broken. But I guess, like, these ones are the gigas. That's like an instant click to me. Am I crazy? You get a Azir, even if you lose streak. You get a Xerath instantly. You just lose one, win one, lose one. Or you lose streak like, I don't know. That does not seem balanced to me. But it is a prismatic. It's hard to judge prismatics because sometimes these prismatics, they look really broken and then somebody else hits something and you just like lose because they're so much stronger than you in terms of combat. I don't know. This one seems good. I think I would click this instantly. Min-max. Gain a golden item remover and 4 random components. You know, 4 components for a prismatic. Unless you really need the remover, I don't like 4 components. Give me at least 5, okay? 6 is what I'm looking for. 5 is what I'll take. You know? 4 I think is a little bit more of like, I don't want to click that. Money Monsoon. Gain 7 gold now and every round for the rest of the game. This is another one of these late game ones. It's hard to say. These feel like kind of like bailouts or fast 9 kind of things. You really have to have a good spot for these type of augments. Prismatic Destiny Plus. Okay, they made a plus version. Retribution. Gain 2 Hand of Justice. Allies equipped with Hand of Justice can critically strike with their abilities. This seems broken because you can play around Aatrox, I think. Right? This plus Slay. No. 2 Hand of Justice isn't enough, right? I remember I did the math. Or I checked it before, right? A Hand of Justice gives 12% Omnivamp, so you're at 24. And Slayer only gives 15. So you still need a little bit extra Omnivamp, or you need 3 Slayer? How do you get in Slayers? Let me see. What is Slayer? Is there a 3 Slayer? Okay, 3 Slayer? No, it's still not enough, right? 24? Yeah, you're still not enough. Yeah. So that's a little bit bait, but I can see it being really good on Aatrox. Or certain other melee carries. I don't know if you have, but I don't know. This could be really good, though. Because this just helps you. It makes it so you don't have to build IE or Jewel Gauntlet. Sweet Treats. Gain an Artifact Anvil. Your team gains 30 health for each item equipped on champions. Ooh, this one's very strong. In certain situations, right? Team gains 30 health for each item equipped on champions. This could be very good in different encounters, and it could also be extreme. Like, if you get the Rise encounter where you get a bunch of extra emblems, those will all count as items. If you have, like, Scuttle Puddle where you have a lot of items, then you just give your whole team a bunch of HP. This is like getting Scrap or, like, those, or Exotech, where you're just getting a bunch of value for having a bunch of items. And it gives you an artifact. I think this is very good. I would take this very, very, very often. But it does depend on you having a lot of items. So it'd be on those high item encounters. Axiomata. Gain 3 random elemental hex augments. Okay. Future augments round instead grant you 1 random elemental hex and gold based on the augments tier. Okay. This one's good if you hit the right elemental ones. But getting another elemental hex seems pretty strong. This seems like kind of crazy. This might be like broken. Because those other ones, we already looked at them. The elemental hex, those were the silver augments. This basically gives you 3 silver augments for a prismatic. Is that good? I think it is, right? I think 3 silvers is stronger or equal to a prismatic, right? Because 2 silvers in the past, when we had to evaluate in set 14, 2 silvers was almost always better than a gold. And a silver augment plus a gold augment is supposed to be a prismatic. So if you take 3 silver augments, I'm pretty sure it's equal to a prismatic, if not better than a prismatic. Plus it scales additionally, which makes it definitely worth it. I think this is solid. I would definitely click this. It's just a matter of like econ or not, but I would click this. And I think these elemental hexes were all pretty good. There were some that were a lot better, like the wound shred sunder type of thing. I think this is a solid augment. Trait tree, 3 random emblems. Yep, if we play around emblems. World Ruins. Gain 2 emblems from random regions. Each player combat with 4+ region traits active grants a world rune. After collecting 9 world runes, gain a radiant refractor and 2 component anvils. This one's interesting. 2 emblems from random regions. Each player combo with 4+ region traits grants you a world rune. This is good for Rise. So I see this as being like a Rise kind of board. It might need a little bit of a cookery, right? But it does, with the emblems, it's actually not too difficult to activate the 4+ regions. It seems like crazy, but it's not that bad because Targon counts as a region. And Targons are solely dolies, right? Maybe that's not the correct, like, you know, logical term for it, but Targon is a region. So you get Targon, you get, like, you know, Piltover, which is solid. Just you probably want to play Piltover anyways, right? That's like 2 regions with just 3 units, and then you get emblems as well. Like, you can probably easily fit this in starting like level 6ish. And then how many rounds is it? Excuse me, 9. You would have to get it active on like Ooh, maybe not actually. I can see where this falls apart, right? The emblems have to be good. And you have to hope that you stabilize around Rise, probably. Like, the chances are you won't be able to get it active on stage 2. That's what I'm saying. I thought maybe you can get it active on stage 2. You won't be able to activate this condition very easily on stage 2. Which means you have to activate on stage 3. Which means by the time this happens, it's more likely it's going to happen on stage 5. Like, maybe if you're lucky, end of stage 4. But most likely it's going to be like beginning or middle of stage 5. Which is like a very long time to wait for this stuff. And I don't know how powerful 2 emblems is. This is like the equivalent of a gold augment. So you're basically like down a lot of power until you actually hit this part. So I don't know. This one's hard to evaluate because it really comes down to like this part. If you can do this fast enough. We stick together, gain a random emblem and a completed item. Allies that share a trait with that emblem gain 20% attack speed. Okay. Into the arcane. I don't know how good this is. It really depends on the emblem. Win out. When you reach level 9, immediately level to 10 and gain 10 free shop rerolls. Gain 10 XP now. On 3-2? This seems good. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I can see... I don't know how this is exclusive or not. But, like, this can be really broken in certain spots. Especially with Prismatics all requiring you to be level 10. Like, it's basically like, dude, how much do you value level 10 versus level 9? I don't think there's that much of a value for level 10 versus level 9. To be honest. But, like, if you're already in a spot to fast 9, this just turns you into a fast 10. Which is just more consistency for hitting your 5 cost. So, I can see this being okay. It also gives the 10 rerolls. But it's a Prismatic. That's the problem. It's like, how much value do you get from level 10 versus level 9 in terms of a Prismatic? Because if you're in a spot to fast 9 and roll on level 9, it's basically like the same thing almost, right? Because you're usually just looking for one copy of the units. Anyways, sorry. So that was all of the new augments, right? We just wanted to go over them, read them, talk a little bit about them. Hopefully that was informative. Like I said, this is mostly just knowledge dump, information type stuff for everybody while we ease into the set. Tomorrow will be more of a guide focused content, like talking about like PBE and some tips and tricks for PBE. And like I said, I'm going through PBE and playing it myself in the meanwhile. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully that was fun. See ya. Bye-bye.